Just 1 second. Welcome to the AIU 9th online symposium. The theme for the symposium is My Legacy to Future Generations. I'm your host, Dr. Edward Lambert, and the next presenter is going to be CarlClarke. CarlClarke, can you present yourself?
Yes. Are you hearing me?
Are you there already?
You're not hearing me?
Yes.
Nice.
I want to make you a co-host. So there. Do you have a presentation? Do you want me to do your presentation, or do you want to present it from your own computer?
Let me see if I get it here.
Okay.
Can you see it?
It's on its way up. We don't see it yet, though. At least I don't see it. There it is. Excellent.
Okay.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and where you're from.
Sure. Well, my name is CarlClarke from Trinidad and Tobago, West Indies. A very small country. I have been around on the earth for about 53 years. I have studied in engineering, have a master's in business administration, and I'm now pursuing my doctorates in renewable energy at the AIU. I'm married, I have 4 children. I have a business and an NGO as well. So I want to take this opportunity to thank Mr. Lambert for having me on this podium, just to share a little of my desire and legacy of my life that I would like to leave for generations to come. Yes? So my presentation will involve a few topics: providing a solution efficiently and effectively, networking and association, wealth generation for global sustainability, the beneficiary gift, and I have a dialogue, Send You to Andromeda. And I'll explain what that means. My introduction would be the importance of leaving a legacy to future generations are vital, because sustained vision do not end with the visionary, but it goes far beyond one side, even to 1,000 generations. With this in mind, one must take into consideration the assignment to the world. Most visions are self-centered, but a true vision is where you take into consideration the world, the globe, its society, mankind, and the environment. Self-centeredness will cause you to only develop for yourself for a couple of years. But sustained vision will cause you to think for 1,000 generations. I have put my mind to study the affairs of mankind over the past 35 years as we progress and grow. And to this end, the conclusion of the matter is mankind is good creators, but they are not good sustainers. And I'll explain that as we go along. However, nature teaches us that creativity and sustainability is in one. In the cosmos, we can see creativity and sustainability. Let me draw an example. Like water, the H2O, we see creativity and it is sustained as H2O. And the fruit trees, we see creativity and it is sustainable with its seeds within its fruit. In other words, built-in creativity is the cycle of avoidance of depletion. And that is our problem in the world today. We are good creators, but we are not putting into the code to cause sustainability. Let me draw an example. Like our waterways. The water comes from the earth, our fresh water comes from the earth, and its waterways are what? Polluted by humankind. So we are not sustaining our water that passes on the waterway. We will throw rubbish, we will throw debris, and then we complain to governments to solve the problem. Therefore, it is not renewable sources, but is having a renewed mind towards what we have already. The sun, water, seeds, fruits. We have to renew our mind. So yes, we say renewable energy. Renewable energy is always there, but we have to renew our mind how we are going to use this resource that is always there. Providing a solution. Providing a solution is either to create a new thing or to bring back to the as-is state. Because when things go out of line, the waterway is corrupted, the waterway has debris, we need to bring back our waterway so that our waters will be clean. So it's either we are creating new systems or we are bringing back systems that should have remain at its state at the inception. Whether it's engineering, whether it's the environment, whether it's health issues, whether it's chemical reactions. To do this, I have formed already an entity called Engineering One back in 2014 to establish solution centers locally and possibly throughout the world, which will manage, control, lead, govern, and rule over things. We must dominate things, not people. We must develop people to their full potential to sustain things. We got to sustain our water. We got to sustain our air. Mankind is polluting everything they put their hands on. We are good creators, but not good sustainers. One can be doing the right thing in terms of efficiency and effectiveness. A person could be doing the right things, but not doing it right. For example, you got an instruction to build a waste-to-energy plant in Trinidad. So you went ahead and completed the project on time and within budget, but everyone else was disappointed. You know why? Because you built it in the wrong Trinidad, out of 86 Trinidad in the world. So you can be efficient, but not effective. You receive $300 million for a particular project, but the effectiveness of the project wasn't met. But the efficiency was done. You're doing things, you do this, you do that. You implement this, you implement this strategy, you implement this system, but the effectiveness wasn't met. Because the amount of strategy and choices you have, you choose the wrong strategy. In Trinidad, so there are 86 Trinidad in the world. Which one are you going to put this project? That is effectiveness. You might build a project, you might build a dam, you might build a waterway. But when you build a waterway, your people is still polluting the water. That's where education comes in. That's where a revolution of the mind comes in. That's where transformation comes in. So strategy is first, then the angle of sight. So when you have strategy, you now is able to see where you are going and then implement a plan. I just want to state on this forum, we use it all the time as professionals. There is nothing such as strategic planning. You got to have a strategy first and then planning after. Strategy first, the angle of sight where you want to go. Then you plan towards the end where you want to go. We're continuing with efficiency and effectiveness. In other words, the assignment that we have is the reference point where purpose is birthed. What is our assignment? Our assignment is not for us to prosper only in the world. Our assignment is not for our business to prosper only in the world. Our assignment is not for our NGO to prosper only in the world. Our assignment is to see that everybody globally is sustained in a way of life that will benefit all. So anytime we are self-centered, it's not a proper vision. But if we are thinking everybody, then our vision is fruitful, and you as an individual would not be able to outlive that vision. So therefore, your strategy would be to prepare other generations so that they can now meet the percentage mark as they go along in life. So an assignment is the reference point where purpose is birthed. What is your assignment? What is your God-given assignment for the world, for the earth? What is your NGO assignment? To get monies from the government? No, produce your own money. Let me tell you something. From the time the earth was created, or from the time mankind was on the earth, no money left the earth. Not $1, not one gold bar, not one silver coin. Where is the money? No money flew off the earth. No money went to the moon. No money went to the stars. Yet the world has no money, as it were. The money is somewhere, but we got to get it. The strategy is the where, the target point, the strategic coordinates. Where do I want to go? Then I will be able to plan. So I might want to build a house, a nice three-bedroom house. I engage myself on an assignment. An assignment I talked about, when you have an assignment, it creates purpose. So I assign myself to build a house. Why? What's the purpose of it? Because I want to take myself out of the rain. I now have a vision of the house. What the house might have, how big it is, how much rooms, what I'm going to put into it. But the problem is, with a lot of people, is where that house is going to be built. And that is strategy in its simple terms. Where I'm going to build a house. So when you get the strategic coordinates, where I'm going to build a house, then my visionary sight is seen in that direction or vector. And I now know where to go, what I am seeing on that coordinate, and now I'm able to plan where I'm going. So we got to take this into consideration. So the strategy is the where, the target point, the strategic coordinates. The angle is the line of sight, what I am seeing, which is vision. So when you get the strategy, the where, the strategic coordinates, now you are able to focus in that direction. There are 360 degrees in a circle. What direction are we going? Are we just considering we want food, healthcare, money, and so on? Or how that affect the global economy? And a mission is how I am going to accomplish what I am seeing in a nutshell. The renewed mind. Change is difficult only when one wants to remain in the old state of behavior. If you want to change and you do not know what to change or how to begin the change, you will never develop a new habit. And many people are stuck in this position. Then, to go forward, you need transformational process plan, a revolution of the mind. That is why I told you that we have to renew our minds, not to dump garbage in the waterway of the water that we have to drink. And that starts from kindergarten. From the time you are born, you must be trained. And in other words, I will say it here, if you want to change a generational habit, start from kindergarten. So in the next 50 years, the government of that day would not have that problem. But sometimes you want to see the change within our political lifetime. Sometimes that is impossible. We cannot change something within a political lifetime. We would not have the resource, we would not have enough money to make the change, and then politicians will be looked as liars. Some of the things have to be changed generational. Start from kindergarten, teaching them, don't pollute your rivers, don't throw rubbish into your rivers, don't throw filth into your waterway. Teach them that, let them practice that, so that the government of the next 50 years would not have that problem. That is real change. The renewed mind. Networking and association. I have also formed an NGO, networking and association, a few years ago. And just to back up with the Engineering One company, my purpose there is to provide solution and also to generate wealth for stakeholders. My desire is if I could work with my hands, network with people, generate wealth for the purpose of implementing and having solutions, financial solutions to the world. I've also developed the NGO. A few years ago, I have founded the association named Renewable Energy and Electrical Inspections Association of Trinidad and Tobago. The mission, simple: to make available expert masters and professionals in the application of research, data, mathematics, and science. What this means: I have begun to list and incorporate professionals in their area, finance, good accounting professionals, engineers, electrical engineers, renewable energy personnel. To do what? To get jobs. And that is how we are going to help some of the young people, give them jobs. One of the things that we are lacking and we need to put some finance into is research. One research could bring $1 trillion to an organization, but we have to invest it. Research to provide a solution globally. And when you come up with that solution, you send it out into the world at an economical price. And that funds could come back to you and you put it back into the society. Non-refundable. So that has been going there. So I'm giving you examples and not just talking about it. Wealth generation. What we will do, we will work with our hands first. Because sometimes we just want our hands to ask for a grant. No, we want to show that we could work our hands and generate $100 million. So when governments see, listen, this company is generating millions of dollars and they are putting it back into the society, then they will want to give you more. That means you are managing your money, you have financial control, you're paying your taxes and all your accounting is in place. A government will be able to put $1 billion in your hand and know it will work. Or $100 billion for a particular project, social development project. Because you yourself as an individual have developed your own capacity and not depending on others to develop you. So this is one of the strategies that we have to look forward to do. Do it, let them see that you're doing it, let us see that you're managing money, because money answers all things. Yes, we can come together as a people, do certain things that you may not have to pay for, but you need money to correct certain things. So we will work with our hands and provide expert masters to the world that will be able to get projects, do it professionally, bring in an income, and now be able to share what was brought to us. So I'm developing a pipeline where wealth is able to pass through to generations, so that the generations will have the kind of wealth, not just from a governmental point of view, not just from a donor, but by working with our hands as well. Provide services to governments and its relatives to renewable energy as it relates to renewable energy and sustainability. Get contracts, do contracts. We have the professionals among us Even in the AIU, we will have professionals coming out. We network our services and do jobs, $200 million projects. Your profits might be 20%, 15%. Then you redirect some of that. Of course, don't muzzle the ox that tread the corn. You pay yourselves, you pay your staff well and so on, and channel a few $1 million into a donorship to the world. In education, in developing health research. You know, one research in health, I say, could bring $1 trillion onto any organization. But they must not be self-centered. They must think globally. Provide service to governments and relatives, renewable energy, conduct deep research and development, sustainable systems and equipment for societal use. We must think societal, we must think global, we must think everybody. Generate wealth for stakeholders, because stakeholders also wants to give. But are they seeing a return on their investment? Because if they want to give, show a way where some of that could come back to them. Some will just give, but some will give as an investment so that if you get a project, $100 billion project for something, and they invest into it, profits will go back to that particular organization. So we're not just giving and taking and giving and taking. What we're giving, we're working with our hands, we're sweating. Global sustainability, to sustain is to keep it as is. That is sustainability, keep it as is. Don't pollute your waterways, don't pollute the air. We have real problems. Yes. Don't eat out everything. Leave a seed so that they can plant. If you're not planting, how you can eat? You have 300 million acres of land. You plant, you eat out everything, but you didn't save the seeds. You'll have problems. So you must have seeds. We are not doing a good job at this. We are good creators, but not good sustainers. Sustainers is to keep as is. So when you build a system, if you build a wealth generating system, you have to put into the code to sustain itself. What are you doing so that it will be able to sustain and to generate and to send the funds where it's supposed to be? We have lack of integrity. People will receive funds. They take it for themselves, they take it for the family, they take it for private use, and 2% reach the public, reach the world. Lack of integrity. One of the global projects, and I just throw this in, one of the global projects that can be implemented would be to clean our waterways and roads. I call this project Clean as a Whistle. Sustaining our waterways free from debris forever. It is important, it is possible. Check your waterways in your country, polluted. And you have the people in the country drinking from the same water. So you need a renewed mind. Your whole nation needs to renew their minds. And if the older folks is not able to get it, then you have to go down to the kindergarten, teach them, and in the next 50 years, you will have what we're talking about. So we have to rush to see things happen in our own lifetime. We may never see it, but we must rush to put things in place that the 10th generation down the road, or 100 years from now, or 50 years from now, you would have a change. And this is true vision. And I just throw that in to show an example. However, this will take a revolution of the mind, a metamorphosis of every person in the world. And that is what each country has to do, each village, each nation has to have a metamorphosis of the mind, how people think about this environment we live in. That is sustaining our own life, the earth, the environment is sustaining us. The beneficiary gift. My legacy will leave, I would like to leave a multi-trillion-dollar wealth pipeline connected to the entities for generation beyond my lifetime. That means I would like to leave a pipeline of wealth where people of like-minded, people who mind have changed to create and to sustain our environment as is. None of us here had created the earth. None of us here had created the cosmos. None of us. But we are seeing sustainability in it. The earth spins. You see the sun rises at a particular time. We get certain heat. Now we are clouding the atmosphere and our temperature of the earth is being increased. We are causing that because we did not take the time off to study the code of sustainability in its natural resources, so that we now would be able to develop our people, having the renewed mind, how to continue to sustain, for example, the waterway that brings water to a village or to a country. Whether we use, and renewable energy will play a part in all these things, because you could use renewable energy to pump water from one place to the next. You could use renewable energy to implement systems that takes the air that is around you and make water. So you don't need pumps, but you just take the air and create water. And the equipment that is being used is powered and being energized by renewable energy, as we call renewable energy, or energy that was already there, but we now renew our mind how to use it. To continue to mentor expert masters to present them to the world. Like that young man there. You hire him, wherever he is, you hire him and develop him, cause him to have a renewed mind. He is the next generation. Where I cannot reach and where you and you cannot reach, he is going to go and then affect the next generation and the next generation, and then we'll show a total change. And when they are talking about you in the next 100 years, next 150 years, there was a man, there was a woman who had started this thing, and your name is praised. Yes? So bringing the environment to its original state. That is not impossible. Re-engineering. We have a lot of engineers here. Send you to Andromeda. I just stick this in to show you what vision is supposed to be really about. From me to you, 100 years and beyond, the vision is so large, wide, and far. Your vision should be so large, wide, and so far. There is no doubt that I need to send you 50, 100 years beyond, 1,000 years and beyond, that you will see, that you will taste, and that you will touch for yourself. I am tasting and touching already because it is in my mind. I now have to create it so that you could actually taste it and touch it. I have literally adopted Andromeda. That is a galaxy that is known by scientists. I could see it in the spirit. I can taste it. But you is the one that will reach it. And let me just give you this little clipping here. Now, Andromeda from our Milky Way is close to 2.5 million light years away. That is the galaxy that I have adopted. I will never see it as it relates to literal sight, but in my spirit, I see it, I taste it. And in that galaxy have a lot of minerals, science that can benefit the earth. Someday you could reach it. Now, 2.5 million light years, 1 light year is 9.5 trillion kilometers. You see how far that is? You could estimate in your mind how far that is. Vision is like that. The visionary may never actually go on it, but is able to send somebody else 1,000 generations now. So to have 2.5 million light years away, we might say that is impossible. No, vision is not impossible. So I am saying my legacy is that leave a pipeline of wealth specifically for sustainable development, using the energy that is already there for the benefit of mankind, whether in health, education, agriculture, all these energies can be used for that purpose to develop. I did a little timeline. By the end of 2021, I will register a lot of professionals, which I've already started. Finance professionals, accounting professionals, power engineers, renewable energy engineers, solar engineers, and I'm interacting with them. We're doing little small projects here and there, and getting jobs. When we get jobs, we get wealth. When we get wealth, some goes to pay staff, create jobs for others, and a part will go to the world in need without a repayment. This is what we have to do. And I just draw out of some generate wealth, provide engineering services and renewable energy. This had I have started this at a micro level, at high voltage testing. We do all these things already. And we want to generate trillions of dollars. This is a company. The NGO will be doing the same thing in terms and developing capacity within the NGO to spend these kinds of monies in the world. So my summary, the legacy of my life that I will leave for future generations, is my desire is to have a people with a new mindset to take care of the earth, ladies and gentlemen, to take care of the earth system, to continue to be a watchdog, to manage and to control the sustainability of the system that was given to us in such a way that we will not be the ones to cause deterioration to natural resources, systems, and new innovations. To network and associate with like-minded stakeholders and to generate very great wealth for the cause. I open a statement and say that we met the earth here. We met the cosmos. We met the universe. That means some being had created it. And that being that had created the earth, the heavens, and the cosmos, he is the creator and sustainer of the universe. We as mankind must create and sustain. We as mankind must sustain that which we have received in its original state. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Woo. Who has a comment or a question after that?
Yes, I have, please.
Remy, do you want to go first?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
So you, sir, thank you very much for the presentation. Very, very, very enriching. You've mentioned renewable energy, mind revolution, being good creator, and good sustainers. As a nation, I want to make it a kind of generalizing and making a kind of global.
Yeah.
As a nation, where can we start the implementation from this implemented to implement this? Should it be individual effort, global effort, or an NGO effort? Which one? out of all these, do you think will be more effective
Yes.
to say that will carry out this your design, that will
Yeah.
make this your design successful
Yes.
as an initiator of this ideology?
Yes.
Which of these efforts that will bring this vision, that will make this vision of your proposed
Yeah.
pipeline come true?
I will say the NGO.
Sorry, please.
I will say.
Conclusively,
Go ahead.
I want to conclude this somehow. This is
Yeah, go ahead.
in the context of a change to the whole global ideology on sustainability of this legacy to the next generation. So how would this please?
Okay. If I understand your question correctly, you will want to use an NGO from the inception backed up by private sector. And the reason why I said that is that a lot of NGOs has started without money. A group of friends come together, they have a desire, but no wealth. In my case, what I have started to do, I've registered a private company. We have started to do business, and that is how I'm financing the NGO to make it what? Give it capacity building in registering its accountants and financial personnel, and let the NGO now spend the money. So the NGO will develop capacity. So that's how I see how this thing could start, and of what I've already started. So it's networking, and from an NGO point, and the reason why I say NGO, because it is a bit difficult to get funding out there just like that. You just arise and somebody put $100 billion in your hand. No. But if you as an NGO backed up by a private sector, whose vision is global, whose vision is helping people, whose vision is to cause renewable energy to spread and to bring sustainability, and some of their funding is backing your NGO to develop the capacity. Then, without a better word, then you can go and beg for $100 billion and they'll put it in your hands because they already see that you do something at probably a small scale. And now that you can manifest that in a bigger scale. Yes?
Oh, thank you very much.
Sure.
I
we have to stay tight. We have to stay networked. We have to stay tight. So you know that a project in renewable energy or to bring electricity to a particular place, and we can secure that contract. This fraternity will come together and secure it. And hire the professionals within the fraternity. And the young guy who is interested in a particular field, pull him up and start training him hands-on, you know? Yes, we have to stay tight. But I've started as an individual, but my spirit and my heart is not individualism. Is togetherness, networking, association. But it has to start somewhere, yes. Go ahead.
Okay, now the next question will come from Dr. Eduardo Lorenzo Viana.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody from Brazil. Good evening for other countries that it's already evening. I'd like to thank you, Dr. CarlClarke, for your very good presentation. I appreciate it very much. As I told in the start, my name is Eduardo Viana, and I am from Brazil, South American too. Trinidad and Tobago and Brazil and Venezuela are very privileged countries because we have a powerful natural environment. I think you know Brazil last year has not protected accordingly the environment. We have so many problems in Amazonia. We have so many problems in Pantanal. Our forest was on fire. And right now here in Minas Gerais state, a state in Brazil that has a lot of types of biomas, looks like the Cerrado. I don't know if you know Cerrado. They are on fire. A very big problem. But I also believe in the type of your job. I think this quotation is from your job. If we dream, if we together aspire, together we can achieve. I believe it's from your country, isn't it? So congratulations for your association, your organization working with energy. Energy is the future, the present, and it is the future. Congratulations, not only for your presentation, but congratulations for your job and the foundation of your organization. But how can we change? My question is, how can we turn good creators to good sustainers? Is a challenge for us, especially in Brazil. How can we turn from creators to sustainers? Thank you so much.
Now, it will have some people, adults, that would be able to take that transformational and revolutionization training. It will have some adults who would be able to do that in a very quick time. But the long-term effect is to start with your kindergartens and train them. So the next 50 years or the next 60 years, I might not be around. You might not be around. I'm 53. The next 60 years, I'm 100 and something. So you're going to see that generation come out of that and able now to sit. Now, one of the things that this week I cry, and if I had the money, I'll give it. I think it's the same Brazil. The truckers that is crying food for 1,000 kilometers in mud. The trucks can't go. My heart burden. If that road costs $100 billion and I had it, I'll go and build the road. I'll ask the government to build that road without any asking for anything back. I cried to see these fathers and sons struggle over 1,000 kilometers to get food from one place to the next. And apparently the country may not have the money to do better. So this is the legacy I want to leave. Wealth to help these situations. So to answer that, how to become from created to sustainable, when you create something, or if there is something that is already been there, we need to find out the science behind it. That's why we have research. Find out the science that what will keep that as is, and now you just continue to monitor. We are monitors. We are the managers of the earth. So when things going funny, we have to correct it. And most of the times is man causing destabilization of the system and then destabilization of the economy. So it's a renew mind teaching, one from the kindergarten. So you start doing that. Government have to arrest the kindergartens and bring them up 25 years with a new mindset. And also the adults that is there that are willing, not everybody will be willing. We would be able to get some of the adults that change to make them now supervisors and generals to the upcoming ones to change their generation in the next 50 years. We to change the generation in the next 50 years. So the next 50 years, it isn't supposed to be like that. But political time frame is what most politicians work with. They have 5 years to do this, 5 years to do that. It can't work. We will spend $1 billion, but we see nothing. because it is a renewing of the mind. Yeah? Nice.
All right.
Thank you
Next.
so much. Agree with you. Thank you so much.
Let's
Yes,
go to
yes, Doc.
Alpha Kanu.
Yes, Doc. Hello.
Hi.
Yes, I am Alpha Kanu again from Sierra Leone, West Africa. Really,
Yes, this is young guy.
Glenville, Leeboard.
yeah, really, I moved from your presentation. Yeah. So I don't know if you can help us with your email address so that some of us
Yeah, sure.
can
I
get
will, yes. Yeah, I think I have it at the, if I'm not mistaken, let me see if I have it here still. It looked like I cut it off, but I had it at the end of the presentation. But Mr.
Is it
Edwards probably
Engineering
could get it
Colt?
on to everybody.
Engineering Colt.
Yeah, engineering co ltd 2@gmail.com. Engineering co ltd 2@gmail.com.
CarlClarke, do you want me to put it in the chat for you?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I had it at the end of the presentation, but like I didn't reach down as far.
There, I just put his email into chat.
Nice.
Thank you for connecting.
Hello.
So we have some powerful ideas going on here with CarlClarke.
Yes.
Wealth generation, sustainability.
We have to
Powerful ideas.
We have to generate the wealth.
Let's go now to Glenville Leeboard. Please deactivate your microphone so you can ask a question or make a comment. Glenville.
Yes, thank you so very much for your excellent presentation, Dr. Clarke. I am from the small island of Nevis, just north of Trinidad, and I've been inspired by your presentation. And my question to you is, how do we professionals get together to marshal our energies to overcome the individualism and create NGOs to project our vision way into the future beyond our lifetime? And as I said, to generate wealth in real time so that we can benefit as individuals, but still pay back to our societies that nurture us.
Right, and I'll answer that by getting our first project.
Because I need some help in that area.
So what I have done in Trinidad so far, I brought these professionals together, engineers and so on. We marketed, we got our first project, and then now the professionals begin to work together and begin to dialogue. So we must be able to market our first project. Yes, we can network with, we could sign up with one another, we could be talking and so on, but we must connect to our first project. I had done it and it could work. So if you saying, okay, I have an electrical engineering project in Nevis, and we are able to get that project based on our expertise and our so on. We go and get it. As we get it, the connected associated group will now do that project. Wealth will be distributed accordingly as we take different managing positions in coordinating such project, bringing it to its end. And then now we will decide, okay, this is the profits of this particular project. How are we going to distribute now to NGOs that have sustainable and renewable desires? Good. And that is what is going to happen. So from the offset, you have to decide, listen, if we do a project for $10 and we make a profit of $2, we're giving $1 to the global society. And we will send it. Whether it's a NGO in that particular nation or NGO in a particular country, if we have to build capacity, we will use some of the same money to build capacity. And within the network, we'll have the professionals such as accountants and so on that is connected that will be able to help before we go outside there begging. And as we go forward, people will start to give unto us. 'Cause there's a lot of people out into the world that is willing to give millions and millions of dollars before they die. They don't know what they want to do with it. But they just want to see people who is not self-centered, who is thinking about the global economy and to fix things, and they will give us money. Thanks. That answer your question?
Yeah, so I think we have to create the channel for the money to flow in a safe manner. And be accountable for it.
And that is why one of the ways is to have private companies to generate the wealth first, because an NGO will have a lot of problems with money generation and so on. But a private company could decide where he or she wants to do with the money.
Yeah.
And if a global entity comes together and we get a project, we make a decision from the very outset. This is what we're going to do with the profits that comes out of this project after everybody's paid well for their services.
Thank you
And a
for the
private company
advice
can do
and
that.
the insight. Yeah.
Huh? Yes.
Thank you for the advice and the insight. Appreciate it.
Nice one.
We'll be in touch.
Sure.
Yeah, good.
Okay, now let's move on to Evelyn Surwa Yasi.
Okay. Hello.
Hi.
Please,
Welcome,
can you
Evelyn.
hear me?
I am hearing you.
Okay. Thank you so much for your presentation. It was captivating. In your presentation, you mentioned or stated that to change a generation, you need to start from early childhood. Okay, and
Yes.
start from the kindergarten. So I want to ask, what can we teach, or what can we add to the education system to prepare their minds for the future?
We need to add taking care of the environment, taking care of the earth that we have, taking care of our waterways, taking care of how we use the natural resources that we have. That has to be started there. So that when that child is growing up, he's not going to throw a bottle on the street. He's going to look for a bin. He's not going to throw debris into the rivers. When he gets married, he's not going to throw a fridge down into the water wells where he's going to drink water from.
Okay.
So that part of education needs to be taught there. Sustainability and environmental needs to be started down in the whole there.
Okay.
So you can show them a bucket of clean water, and you'll show them that if they throw things into that, they would not be able to drink from it. And the same thing goes to our rivers and to our seas and so on. Now look at this. I just want to give you one example.
Okay.
Right now, we are using the earth to dump chemicals, nuclear waste, and so on, right? And all sorts of things we're throwing into the earth.
Yeah.
After in the next 300 years, what will happen to the earth? The earth will be polluted.
Yes.
Our agriculture, when we eat the fruit, is disease, pandemic, is we causing it. Now, if we have good research data, and we could research, just giving a wide view, we research and we come up with a good gas where rockets and so on can be used, and we develop it, and it is very cheap, and we could be able to develop gas to get rockets and so on. Yes? We now could take these type of chemical and dangerous substance and dump it in the next place out of our earth, a planet that is not being used. I'm just being sporadic. Let me say Venus must be about what, 3,000 degrees or so. Send it down 80 centigrade. Don't pump it into the earth. So this is just an idea, what I'm saying. We got to sustain the earth. So if we pump chemical into it, nuclear waste, and all these kind of waste into the earth would not sustain itself after a while. So this is an example, yeah?
Okay. Thank you very much.
We have a whole galaxy. We must find a planet that we could probably send some of these things on. Yeah.
Thank you for your question, Evelyn.
Yes.
Let's now go to Yawa Habila.
Mr.
Yawa
Robert.
Habila. And then
Mr. Robert. Hello.
Traore?
Yes, Traore. Yes.
Do you want to go
Please,
first?
I can
Laure?
go on. Yes, I have some question for.
Okay, Yawa Habila, you'll go next.
I can go.
Okay, I will go next.
Traore,
Yeah.
please
Yes,
continue with your
Mr.
question.
Lambert. Mr. Lambert, I'm here. I want to go ahead.
Please
Yes, I
go.
have. Okay, I have some question with representatives. I live in Africa. I find that the priority of African country is not, most of African country is not to take care the environment issue, because the people of this country live day to day. It will be very difficult to take care exactly the environment issue. I want to know if the presenter have some solution to give us in order to take environment issue and to take together environment issue and the life of the people. The people live in the conflict situation, education situation, bad governance situation. The problem is big and enough. If I want to know if you have some solution in your presentation. Thank you. I didn't hear all the questions, but I didn't hear everything that you have said because you were breaking up a bit. But from what I am getting, you're talking about education to the people there? Education? Yes, I talk about education issue. I talk about exploitation of exploitation of men in the different countries. I talk about the environment issue. The people don't care the environment. You go to catch the wood, for example, and the exploitation of the men don't care the environment. If they use the chemical product to exploitation, the water can be polluted, the river can be polluted, the fish die, and everything in this area. Donc, I want just to tell you, the environment is a priority, not a priority of this country. Environment is because these people live day to day. Okay, thank you. Well, from what I am hearing, there is it seems to be a governmental issue. Yeah.
Can I help? Can I help?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
What I've been breaking up too.
Yeah. Yes. What he is saying is that in Africa, people are
Yes.
living in abject poverty.
Right.
Environmental issues are not their concerns.
Right.
Because they don't have fuel, they have to go and cut firewood.
Yes.
They contribute into deforestation.
Right. Right.
They go into illegal mining. And for mining, they use chemicals.
Yes.
Those chemicals are very dangerous. They pour the water inside the rivers, and all the fish inside the water get killed. Okay. So what advice do you have to give to African countries? Well, because environmental issues are not their concerns. They live from hand to mouth. Yes. They depend on nature, only on nature. Right. So can you advise them? Right. Yes. Well, one of the things, two things. I was looking at waste-to-energy plant, a waste-to-energy plant, using waste, turn it into energy, get electricity, and now you have electricity, distribute that electricity so that they would not have to use wood to cook or to, that's one. And of course, it will fall under renewable energy as well. That is one part of it. Taking the water
Now, if the water at present is not able to be consumed because of pollution, we can also use the energy that is being produced from waste, and we are talking any kind of waste, and produce electricity that we will be able to power systems that will create water from air. And as that revolution takes place, we now have to train the people no longer to pollute the rivers and so on. So that there, as we're talking, that will take some time. First, we have to get the investment for this waste to energy plant, build it, use the waste that is there, generate electricity, create light, and then use that same electricity to cook and so on. And then now retrain the persons so that they'll be able to no longer pollute their rivers and so on. So that's just one part of it. That is one part of it. And when we talk waste to energy, we are talking about whether is whether is grass, whether is certain chemicals, whether is rotten things, and so on. All these could go into the plant and produce electrical energy to cause that transformation, that revolution. But at the same time, they're getting electricity to cook for the while, or we're using solar. We could build solar. We could also build solar ovens using the sun that will bake and so on. So they'll no longer have to use the wood. They'll no longer have to do deforestation, and take them out of that and retrain them in terms of, okay, this is the way we want to go, and no longer pollute or to deforest the place in cutting down the trees and so on. Now, as that is being built, you'll still have some deforestation, but the percentage will now start to decrease over a period of time. And that is where we'll have to do the research to see what is the extent of the issue and see how long it will take to pull these people out, whether by community by community and so on over a period of time. Yeah. So I don't know if that helped.
Okay, thank you very much.
Let's go now to Yawa Habila. Can you activate your microphone, Yawa Habila? Activate your microphone, unmute your microphone.
Yes, please. Thank you so much for your presentation. It was educative. But I have a question. You talk more about preserving the environment for the future generation.
Yes.
I'm from Nigeria, and one of the major challenges we're having is that the approach in which we spread the gospel of taking care of our environment tends to be harsh. And in that regard, most people don't take the message seriously. So when you talk about preserving the environment, people see you as though you're preaching a strange message. Can you kindly advise on the best way to pass out this information in such a way that even the rural communities will understand that we need to preserve some of these natural resources? Thank you.
Nice. Well, it will have to be attacked from a governmental point of view with policies. That is one. Also, you'll have to send down superintendents with officers to live in those communities for a number of years, to pull and to retrain your people. So from a government point of view, so long as that idea is sold, they would be able to develop policies. Are we trying to develop policies without penalties? You don't want to beat people to change. You want people to change naturally with a form of concern. But when that policy is given and it is disseminated through the news and whatever, that is one aspect. What we need now to recruit superintendents from a governmental standpoint with officers to actually live in the community for 5 years to redirect that particular community. Let me say, you say, okay, a team of a superintendent with 2, 3, 4 officers, probably from the community, might be able to get them, or from external, from another state. They'll have to live there as superintendents or governors to ensure that the government policies is placed. Yet we are not trying to create penalties, but we're showing that concern and love for the community to bring them out of that state of not polluting or deteriorating the environment. You're developing a sense of care. And again, you're going into the school systems from kindergarten, primary school, secondary school, and retrain them, retrain. But you need these superintendents not to be in an office 100 miles away, but you need to put superintendents and officers in the community to live for 5 years. Then you change them, or 2 years. Then you change them and you send the next group for 2 years to disseminate the government's policy. But the government must be sold on it first.
Thank you for that answer. Can we move on to the next question? Thank you, Yawa. Yawa Kabila, thank you. We're going to move now to Hassan Kaladi. Hassan, if you could unmute your microphone. Here, let me help you there.
Yes.
There you go.
Hello, everyone. My name is Hassan Khaladi from France.
Yes.
Sorry, I can't speak English very well, but the next time I might have the opportunity to speak it.
Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Lambert, for this important event. Thank you, Doctor, for this presentation. Very important. Thank you for our university for giving us the possibility of meeting people from various parts of the world with only a few objectives about information, discussing it, and knowing various points of view. This initiative encourages us to unite, to face and find solutions for common problems: education, security, climate change, and others. My question: is it possible that the country of the third world can change the current crisis of COVID-19 and climate change in a positive opportunity for change, political, social, and economic, in favor of future generations? And how can they do to succeed this objective? Thank you very much.
Right, from a third world point of view.
Thank you very much.
So, right. Again, the area of research, we're in a pandemic, and if the forefathers, as it were, did really put emphasis on deep research, I believe we would not have been in this pandemic. So the emphasis is to designate or to have deep research constantly, because remember, and your research now is dealing with what the environment is giving us. So you are testing, you have to be testing food, animals, things that we eat and drink, so that we will now curb diseases that we have caused. And again, everything is going back to retraining from the kindergarten, from the lowest stage, come straight up to our school, society, and so on. From a third world point of view, you know, we will look out there at developing nations or countries, but they are not taking heed to these minute matters of code that is destroying themselves. They have the money, they have the pips and so on, but the fundamentals, research, retrain, transform the mind. There is nobody in governments that is looking after that at this point in time. So we as a group, AIU, as ambassadors, could influence these first world countries to begin thinking in 50-year span. No government supposed to be thinking in 5-year span, none. That means it's selfish. I want to look good. No government across the world supposed to be thinking 5 years and 10 years. We're supposed to be thinking in blocks of 50 and 100 and 200 years. That is how our plan is supposed to be. That means that it's 4 generations that we're going to retrain. So by the time the next 200 years when we're gone, you have a different society. Now, there are certain things that you and I will see, but we have a bigger vision that your children and the 2 generations down the road will inherit. And that's how we have to look at it. So we're looking at research, bring it to the fore, make preventions, because in our food we eat, we have disease because of chemical reactions, because of pollution. So you see where we are? Now we just cannot stop the world and re-engineer everything. A lot of people will die out. A lot of people is going to die, you know. And nobody think about it 50 years ago. Or people who had money never think about it 20 years ago. It's selfishness. Selfishness is selfishness. So retraining again, transforming the minds, metamorphosis from the early childhood straight through university. They must come out with a new mind. And then in the public, you need superintendents from a governmental point of view with officers to live in communities. Some will be able to deal with thousands. Some might be able to deal with 5,000, some 10,000, some a whole constituency. But it's not a constituency or a member of parliament that is just thinking political. But we need people, members of the government, to be thinking renewable and sustainable. Create and sustain. So we are creating a generation that will think differently, and we have to put the code inside of them into the system that they will continue to think that way. And to think that way is not being selfish, but think about the global effect. What would I do in France that will affect the world? That's how an individual had to be thinking now. What would I do in Trinidad will affect the global economy? Yeah? So I hope that bring a little answer there.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next.
Let's keep going with this. Next, Generoso Nicolas, do you have a question or a comment?
A question and a comment.
Nice.
In first place, I would like to congratulate Dr. Clarke for his inspirational presentation. Really, I agree with almost of the points that you projected.
Yes.
I'm working in that direction likewise.
Nice.
Maybe in a smaller,
yes,
dimension, but
well, nothing is too small.
Okay.
You had to start at a mustard seed. You had to start small.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, I encourage you that.
Okay, thank you. And I really would like to get a copy because I like to,
Oh, sure.
deep my
yeah, Dr. Edwards could share it with you anyhow. It doesn't matter.
Thank you very much.
Not Peter.
The question is,
actually, I want to say I put your presentation into chat. If somebody can find it, they can click on it and download it.
Okay.
Nice, excellent.
And the question is related to what you said. You have to start from kindergarten.
You have to start.
I agree with that. And but I would like to know if you have incorporated human values and ethics,
right?
Because these are some components that are affecting the impact of human behavior.
Right.
So I'd like to know a little more about that.
Okay. Now, when we see a behavior, we see somebody behaving a certain way. Now that stems from the value that is within, like an iceberg. When we see the tip of the iceberg, we see the behavior, but you know how big the bottom of that iceberg is? Right. So that means when you go deeper down into the person, what value do they have for themselves, their community, and the world? We will see that most of the times they have no value for it. They have value for self. What I could eat, when I could eat, what I could get, what I cannot get. And then when you go deeper down, before your values, there's something called belief. You believe in a certain way because of culture. Culture train you. Throw this in the river, throw this here. And you believe a certain way, and that adds to your value. That means you don't value the river. You don't value the economy. You don't value your neighbor. You don't value your children. You don't value the world. And below that, before behavior comes, or before belief comes, you have now out there a lot of philosophy. And when I say a lot of philosophy, I am talking about, okay, you have the philosophy of don't care. The government must just supposed to supply me all. You believe in, then you come to your belief, you believe that somebody is supposed to supply me to me. Then when you believe that, now you add that to your value, that is what you value. And then your behavior act out, protest. The government didn't do this, the government didn't do that. So that philosophy that is out there of not being global, thinking global, not being self-centered, selfish, that is where we have to begin that training, from the philosophy. What philosophy are we putting into our children? Is it just to grow, get a job, depend on the government, depend on somebody, give me a handout? No. The philosophy should be not what somebody could do for me, what I could do for somebody and the world. That is what it's supposed to be. That's the philosophy we have to put into our young people. What can I do for my community and the world? And that will change the whole behavioral pattern, how we behave. So self-centeredness is what I can do for me and for my family. Global centeredness philosophy is what I could do for my community around me and the world. Because when you do for your community and the world, it is going to rub off on you. Things are going to come to you. So your philosophy will determine your belief. Your belief is going to determine your values, what you value, and your value will determine your behavior. Now, to change a habit, you need three things. Before I close, to change a habit, you need what to do. You need a what to do, how to do it, and your desire, want to do. Now, if you are missing one of those values, you cannot change your habit. Meaning, I want to change the way I look at things. You have a desire. But how to do it, you don't know how to do it. And if you, even though you want to do it, and you know what to do, and you don't know how to do it, you cannot change your habit. Let me go do it, say it the next way. You know how to do it. You know what to do. A lot of people know what to do or no. Not to throw debris into the river. They know what to do. They know how to do it. Take the bottle or take the chemical, put it in a bin. But they don't want to do it. They don't have a desire to do that. The bin is too far. You cannot change a habit. So these three things you need. Want to do it, a desire. You have to know how to do it, the skill, and you have to know what to do, the knowledge. So you need the knowledge, You need the skill and you need the desire. Now let me show you something about knowledge. A lot of people impart knowledge. We say are great teachers, but there's two components of teaching: imparting knowledge and imparting skill. We are great imparters of knowledge, but we are not imparting the skill, the application of the knowledge. And this is what we have to pay attention to. Not just teaching a person the knowledge, don't do this, this is how we do it, this and that. But you have to impart the skill, meaning take their hands, take up the rubbish. I taught this yesterday, but this is how to do it. Take the rubbish, and this rubbish has to go into a bin. So we need to pay special attention in our transformational knowledge base. In terms of teaching, we need to impart the skill along with the knowledge. Yeah?
Very good. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Doc, I have a question to ask.
Who's talking?
Alpha Kanu.
Alpha Kanu?
Yes, sir.
Please go ahead with your question.
Yes, and Doc, how is it possible to achieve when poverty is all over and technology is a serious challenge? Set of people involved in the act of timber logging, and when asked, they will tell you that there is no job. Here in my country, Sierra Leone is a case study. And also, what is your advice for us, the youth, on how we can conquer this fight?
Nice. Well, my terminology of poverty or being poor is maybe a hard thing to say, but is being non-productive. Non-productive, meaning we are consuming, but we are not producing anything to bring in wealth. I don't know if I get that right, get that straight there. Now, so poverty, meaning is a person that is poor. But my definition of poverty and being poor is non-productive. So most of the people in the world are consumers. They're not producing anything. So they cannot sell anything, or they cannot give anything to their country to sell on the international market to bring in wealth. So again, it starts back to the philosophy. I am poor. Now, I am living in the West Indies, and when I was going to school, I was taught that Africa is a very wealthy nation, but yet the people poor. So something wrong somewhere. Somebody, and I said earlier on, no money have left the earth. No money went to the moon, no money went to Mars, but Africa is a very rich place. Then who really owns Africa? So the people of Africa is non-productive, meaning they are not the ones that own the mines. They are not the one that owns and mining the gold. They are not the one that is producing food for the world. But somebody else comes in and get the contract to mine, and they take everything off the earth. But it's the people we have to develop to be the businessmen of Africa. I'm just using that as a statement there. You are the one that has to be productive in your own country to bring wealth to your own country and to your own people. And that too will take some time. But the philosophy that certain people put on Africa, you hear the philosophy here, that they should beg all the days of their lives. I am saying no. That must stop. Produce something. Somebody went with the gold, somebody went with the silver. Well, then produce something else. Let's get 100 young people to begin researching something to produce for the world to sell it, and let $1 trillion come to Africa. They're gone with the gold and diamond and silver. Okay, fine. I am going to give these people 20 years of research funding. Ladies and gentlemen, find a solution for the world. You give them a mandate. And when they find it, sell it. And $1 trillion come to Africa and deliver your people. Yeah. So my terminology really, poverty or being poor is being non-productive. And if you look at your society, your people are not what? Producing anything to sell to the world.
That's right.
But the country is rich. Somebody else is producing wealth off of your wealth. I don't know how that happened. I'm from the Caribbean. I don't know what went wrong there, but somebody has to pay for it. It's wickedness. Yeah. So I hope that helped them.
Okay.
Dr. Lambert.
CarlClarke. We have reached the end of this time. If you could go take the conversation into chat now.
Right.
It has been very interesting. The next presenter actually is now available. So we're going to move on to the next presenter. Fascinating, deep words of wisdom at all levels.
Dr. Lambert, but we are unable to use the chat.
Really?
Yeah, that's correct, sir.
Probably could send some emails and I can respond to it sometime.
Me too. I'm not able to use it. I have not been using it, sorry. But I want to ask some questions.
The system is saying that
I think
I will try to solve that. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it's the same for all.
Jennifer here again. Jennifer is our expert.
Yeah, probably.
I can't really hear.
Doctor, my hand has been up.
We will try to work on why the chat is not reading.
But Dr. Lambert, can you spare us another 5 minutes?
Yes, my hand is up.
Dr. Lambert.
Yes, Susie.
Clarke.
Okay, so we want to thank.
My hand is up. Doctor, my hand is up.
Give us
We're
1 minute.
We're going to thank CarlClarke for a wonderful presentation, powerful presentation. CarlClarke, do you have anything left to say? Are you still here?
If I say anything else, it'll spoil the whole evening.
Yeah, I have a question. I have a question for him.
No problem.
Okay.
I have a question for him.
One last question.
Last question.
One last question. Wait, last question. Very short. Now, with your association of engineers and all the human resources you have,
yeah.
Can you, if an investor gives you an investment to build a refinery,
yeah,
$3 billion.
Yeah, if we can do it. Yeah.
Pardon? Yeah.
That already. What way? I already see it finished build.
Okay.
Yes.
You can build a refinery.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all.
Nice.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. God bless you. Yeah.
All the best. Yeah.
Okay, since CarlClarke doesn't want to say anything more, otherwise he would spoil the whole evening.
Yeah. I believe that is it. Yeah, I think I have put in a lot there for people to chew on.
Exactly. You've said enough for 50 years of chewing on and learning.
Nice.
Thank you
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Being had.
Yes.
Really, a truly wonderful presentation with so many words of wisdom and insight, political, environmental, educational, societal, cultural, beliefs, everything you touch. Is there anything you didn't touch upon? We don't know. So thank you so much.